Children presenting at our border who are fleeing violence, who are fleeing prosecution, who are fleeing terrible situations is not a crisis.
Well, at this point, we've got Washington, D.C. officials going back and forth about whether or not what's happening at the border is really a crisis. We've got Biden promising that he will visit the border. Meanwhile, we've got the border officials and leaders of the Democratic Party in Congress urging the administration to get back to reality, take their share of the blame for the policies that seem to have fomented this crisis, and really get a grip on what is happening.
You have a breach on national security levels that have never before been seen in modern history. It just blows my mind how disconnected from reality they are. Or maybe they do know. Maybe they just don't want to call a spade, you know, because it's uncomfortable. It's a slap in the face.
I said, hey, I just want to let you know what's going on. We need to get a handle on this before it gets out of hand. Even within a week, I was already calling the White House to say, hey guys, you've got to take a look at it.
When you create a system that incentivizes people to come across and they are released, that immediately sends a message to Central America that if you come across, you can stay.
While there are big calls for the administration to get things under control and start responding to what many are calling a crisis, it seems like the Biden administration does not want there to be media access to what is happening on the border and the U.S. facilities that have been set up. One journalist was quite outraged about the fact that he had to go to another country just to take photographs of what was happening here in the United States. He had to stand on one side of the border.
I respectfully ask US Customs and Border Protection to stop blocking media access to their border operations. I have photographed CBP under Bush, Obama and Trump, but now zero access is granted to media. These long-lens images taken from the Mexican side, until now, US photojournalists haven't needed to stand in another country to photograph what's happening in the United States.
Now, many will recall that while Donald Trump was president, photographs of children held in facilities, detention facilities that were set up during the Obama administration were widely circulated. And there was mass discussion and outrage about, what they referred to in the media as kids in cages. And there was widespread visiting of the facilities. You'll recall Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had a well-publicized visit to the detention facilities, and there was widespread coverage. But the Biden administration seems to be rather adamant that it is simply not appropriate to give the media access and to publicize what is going on at the U.S. border.
I don't necessarily think that it's appropriate for journalists to be inside centers that are not permanent places for children, that children are not placed there permanently.
Now, White House spokesperson Jen Psaki says that the Biden administration is very committed to what she calls transparency. But it seems like when it comes to the situation at the border, it's much better to divert people's eyes and change the subject and try to avoid bringing attention to something than it is to resolve a situation that many are referring to as a crisis.